Hey, what's happening, Alley Cats? It is your old pal Brian Q, and we are back with another thrifting video. As you know, I am just obsessed with the idea that every day, more and more of the physical pieces of our childhood, or my childhood, end up in the garbage, rotting in landfills, and it's just a shame. So, when I can, I go out, and I save, or at least now here, document all of these physical pieces of nostalgia that are still floating around out there. Up front, before we get into the vlog part, I want to show off a few things that I picked up that I didn't film picking up. So, one, I actually didn't pick this up. This was donated to the collection by my buddy Eric. It is the Howling soundtrack on vinyl. Look at how pristine that is. Is it? Yeah, it's got a scratch in it. Probably got scratched up by a werewolf. So yeah, super cool. Thank you, Eric. And a big deal. And I'm gonna film it next month. I kind of got cold feet. I don't know if people know this about me, but I'm kind of an introvert and a little bit of a coward. So sometimes when I get into situations where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna, ask to film and and like I kind of get caught up in the moment or intimidated by the moment and I don't ask. So once a month here in town there is a VHS swap meet. It's a small thing. It's at the Alamo Draft House in my neck of the woods. And it's not a big thing. It's one long table with a few vendors, but they have a lot of interesting stuff to look at. I picked up a few things, but I didn't film. And next month, I feel like I will kind of establish ahead of time my intentions to film and point them towards these videos. So yeah, next month I will film, and that I think will become a monthly feature in these videos, hopefully. For at least as long as they do it. They've been doing it for quite a while now, though, so I think it's kind of here to stay. So right off the bat, I picked up a screener copy of Ghoulies 4, which I can't wait. It looks like maybe the worst movie ever made, and I just couldn't be more excited about it. And then this was a recommendation. The House of the Seven Corpses. From what I understand, it is a legit, pretty good old movie. And a rental copy of Mausoleum, which I have never watched this movie, but I remember this cover, I feel like was a staple cover, seeing it in the horror sections at the video store when I was a kid. So I spotted it. I forget, it may have been Groovy. I forget who brought it up. Somebody brought up Mausoleum a little while back as a movie to keep an eye out for. So there it is, and all good prices. So yeah, next month I can't wait to show you that swap meet. All right, let's hit the road and do some thrifting. That got weird. Alright, first up we got one of our favorite Goodwills, usually does not disappoint. And holy crap, look, the math game, okay. I don't know if this is for schools or if you would actually buy this as just like a parent, but look at this thing. Like, I'm showing it especially because it is loaded for bear with VHS tapes that I guess have math clues on them, like 4 ? I don't know, but this looks like a really involved game. It's got a bunch of different card packs, and these were all still sealed. Apparently this was apparently this kid was really maybe resisting math pretty hard around the house. I don't know if this would be homeschooling or what, but it's something. And then look at this, looking through the toys. An old Super Soaker still in the packaging. Just beautiful. Now these are, I I will say, because I had, I think, one original Super Soaker from when they first came out, and these XPs look like they were kind of the second wave of Super Soakers that came out in the later 90s as opposed to the earlier 90s. But still really neat to see the packaging. When's the last time you've seen that? These are just the most terrifying paintings I've ever seen. They may have stolen my soul. Sorry. Here's another one of these cool old, I guess, schoolhouse tape recorders for listening to lessons. I find a lot of these, and I just think they're super neat. I don't remember ever seeing them in school, but just from the little bit of research I've done on them, they apparently were kind of a big thing for, I guess, teaching kids. On to another Goodwill. They all kind of look the same around here, so I always feel like they just look like I'm filming the same one. This one was loaded with VHS tapes. I can't say that there's a whole lot in here in terms of quality, but they definitely got the quantity going on right now. Let's see what they do have. See a lot of... Here's something. Sudden Impact. Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry. Was that the one that had Jim Carrey in it? I don't remember. Jim Carrey's in one of the Dirty Harry movies. I forget. We got Wyatt Earp. And I saw Tombstone in here too. I should have put those two together so they could duke it out OK Corral style. What we got? Oh yeah, Weekend at Bernie's, a classic. I don't know if anybody is a fan, but I'm kind of a legitimate fan of the Weekend at Bernie's franchises. Even the second one is beyond stupid. But like, it's just a part of my childhood, I guess. Then we got Armed and Dangerous, John Candy. Always, well, not always a safe bet, but John Candy was amazing. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. That's a movie, first of all, it's actually a really good movie. It's got kind of an unfortunate title, but I was looking for a copy of that for a long time, and then I finally found it. And now that I have it, I see it everywhere, and it's funny how that works a lot of the time. And yeah, like you see, it's a lot of pretty standard stuff. I'm not overly excited, but the kind of the key I've noticed is when you get the quantity, usually some good ones kind of slip in undetected, you know? And then a kind of a neat Sears turntable. My guess is this is kind of a cheapy one from back in the day, but just a design that I've never really seen before. It looked like it had built-in speakers. Kind of cool. And this is a really nice, this is like a top-of-the-line tape deck from back in the day. Unfortunately, this Goodwill wanted kind of a lot of money for it. I think they wanted like $35 for it. I would have potentially got it. And looking through the records, usually there's not much to see, but this time I found karaoke laser discs, and look at Mortal Kombat. This is a karaoke version of the Mortal Kombat theme song from the movie. So I'm not gonna sing it, but you know what I'm talking about. Mortal Kombat! You know what I mean. Really weird to see. But there it is. On a gold laser disc. Super cool. And look at this. An original Simon. I have my grandparents when I was a kid, they didn't have a whole lot of games in the house, but they had Simon. And I played a lot of Simon at my grandparents' house, so that instantly brings me back to that time. And moving on to half-price books, usually does not let us down. And this time is no exception. They've got lots of VHS tapes to look at. Although I will say, this particular half-price books is starting to get a little expensive on the VHS side. Normally they're like a quarter a piece. Look at Armageddon or Warlock, the Armageddon, $2, $7.50 for paramedics. That's tough. Here's a big box. I don't really need a Katharine Hepburn big box, but it's always nice to see them floating around. What else we got here? A little bit of everything. A lot of decent stuff that I already own. Got Bordello of Blood. Again, $5. I'm not going to pay that. I would have liked to have picked that up. Here's a movie I really would have loved to have picked up. Night Eyes 3. I have Night Eyes 2, starring Shannon Tweed. But $5 was just, it felt a little too, I can't let half-price books know that it's okay to put $5 on a VHS tape like that. So I'm trying to stay strong on some of this stuff. And looking through the cassette tapes, they have a lot of stuff to look at this one again. I'm starting to feel like my thing with the cassette tapes is soundtracks, like movie soundtracks, and we got Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But once again, the price tag is a little oddly steep, and it's not even in there. Somebody stole it. So super cool. Who steals a Who Framed Roger Rabbit cassette tape? Who does that? And then this one actually had a ton of 8 tracks. Not necessarily a whole lot that I would be interested in, but still neat to see. And a decent little selection of old school games. Surprising, this one was pretty sold down on a lot of the good stuff. But look at this, 7th Guest for the PC. This was a game that I played. I played the heck out of it, but mine would glitch. When I was a kid, there was a puzzle that would crash the game. And there's the sequel behind it, 11th Hour. Super cool to see. So I could only ever play up to a certain point before the game would crash. And let's hit up our old faithful savers. Bum 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 bum. I thought this was funny. It says it's not the IBM logo. It just says IBM logo. Literally says IBM logo. I just thought that was really funny. I guess that's a clever legal way of getting around, like, putting someone's name on something. Look at this. We hit a jackpot of old VCRs. The first one you get is this old Quasar, which is just beautiful. It has its remote. It's, as far as I could tell, was, in working order. Really, really beautiful. Another old model RCA. This, to me, a lot of this old stuff is not necessarily something I want to buy, but it really is just a work of art, just so beautiful. And unfortunately, this one does not seem to be in working order. It wouldn't stay on. It would only power on for a second. I don't know what kind of problem that is. I do have quite a few VCRs that I need to fix, special ones, and I didn't need another project. This was another tempting one too. Look at just the visually, this one is really like the prime of my VHS days, or like the start of my VHS days as a kid. It's got the old prong antenna connections on the back, so you know it's pretty old. Manufacture date says September 1st, 1987. And I thought that was neat that it actually had the date on it. Not all of them do. I think more from that time they tend to say. And then look at this bad boy right here. How do you rewind your VHS tapes? I rewind mine in a race car. It's just so cool. And it's still in the box. And a beautiful old, I love these little black and white TVs. I'm holding out. This one did actually have an old prong antenna connector on the side. And that is something that is harder to find, ones with actual external connections. And of course, we all know I love these tape recorders. This was a Texas Instruments tape recorder, and it just had a kind of a different look. I would say it's a cheaper feel than a lot of the other ones, but it was just different from what I've seen around, and pretty cool. Now what's this? Just a brown box? Sawyer's 500A? What could this be? Well, you know it's something old school, and by George, it's a slide projector. And normally I don't need to show off slide projectors, but this one is just so classy looking. It's got gold like accents. It is almost like a sort of a stone finish. It reminds me of that house that like Frank Lloyd Wright house in LA, or maybe it's not Frank Lloyd Wright, but it's the house on Haunted Hill House. It reminds me of that. I don't know if it's Frank Lloyd Wright. What do I know? I'm an idiot. But one thing I do know, Domino Rally. If you had this Domino Rally set as a kid, I am extremely jealous of you. I remember the commercials, and oh my god, did I want it. Oh, and then we have ourselves another little mystery. We pop it open, and it is a reel-to-reel player. This was very tempting, but it was really beat up. You can't really see it in the video, but it was kind of falling apart. And there you have it, folks. Another thrifting video in the can. I gotta say, we're getting out of winter. We're hitting the spring, and I'm hoping that especially the VHS game ups in the spring. I was worried that throughout the winter things would kind of dry up and we wouldn't have very many interesting things to look at. I think we actually did pretty good so far. I think we've been finding interesting things, but really that the VHS game feels like it's kind of drying up more and more. Like, we found a couple good spots, especially a couple good Goodwills, but I'm noticing a lot of Goodwills that I could count on for at least, maybe not quality, but I could always count on them for quantity. They're kind of drying up right now. So hopefully when we hit the spring, a bunch of old people will decide to get rid of their collections of VHS, or maybe those old people will just die, and their son-in-law will be angry and just, you know, dump a bunch of totes of VHS tapes at Goodwill's doorstep. I don't know. I don't want to think about how they get there. I don't want to think these movies come to me through tragedy, but they probably do. Let's just be honest. It's fine. So yeah, until next time, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you're into this, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, all those good things that lets YouTube know this is a place you like to be, and that they should help lift me up. You know, whatever. See you next time, all you alley cats. I will catch you on the flip flop. Bye bye.